fast that I have chosen, to loose the bonds of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, to let the oppressed go free, to break every yoke. That essentially what he's saying here is this is what fasting does. It breaks down the bonds of wickedness. It undoes heavy burdens. It lets oppressed people go free. This is what this does. It's spiritual. It's a physical thing we do that has spiritual implications. Another thing is it gives us, like I said, the power to cast out demons. This is Jesus did this. Mark 9:25 through 29. It says, when Jesus saw the people came running together, he rebuked the unclean spirit, saying to it, deaf and dumb spirit, I command you, come out of him and enter him no more. And then the spirit cried out and convulsed him greatly, and he came out of him. And he became as one dead, so that many said, he's dead. And Jesus took him by the hand and lifted him up, and he arose. And when he had come into the house, the disciples asked him privately, why could we not cast it out? And he said to them, this kind comes out by nothing but prayer and fasting. So the backdrop here is that these disciples, they're trying to cast out a demon from this guy. And they can't figure it out. It's not coming out. They're doing whatever they do. And then Jesus comes along and he does it. And he says, this one only came out by prayer and fasting. So he gives you an insight, a glimpse into what fasting does. It gives you an edge. It's a more powerful weapon than just prayer alone. Sometimes my pastor in Indianapolis, he would do this thing, this very reason he would fast, because he would ask us as a church to join him for, however long to fast. And he would say, ultimately, we need God to move in our city. We needed growth. We needed God to breathe life in our city. There's poverty. There was crime. And all of these things had a spiritual root. He understood something, that if we fast as a body, then we'll be able to overcome these things better than if we just pray alone. So it gives you a leg up, if you will. And so if we want breakthrough in our city, that's the main thing. We want breakthrough, we want growth, we want God to move, then fasting is going to be a part of it, ultimately. Strongholds that can only be defeated as we pray and fast and believe God to give us victory. And I think everybody would want that, but the challenge is it's hard. I don't know anybody who really enjoys doing this, right? It's hard, it's difficult, but the results are great.
Amen.
And another thing is that fasting makes Jesus famous. Luke 4:15 and 14 and 15 says, then Jesus returned in the power of the Spirit to Galilee, and news of him went through all the surrounding region, and he taught in their synagogues, being glorified by all. So Jesus, he gets done from the wilderness. He's finally out. He's been there 40 days. Man, you think we got bad? 40 days. We got 3 days. He's got 40. So he gets out, and ultimately, it says that he was glorified by all. It was like God went before him. It's like God paved the way for Jesus to be made famous so that others knew who he was.